Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of the
So
Northern
this is the
Countdown.
things right here is a couch. That's a computer. These are people from other countries. Say hello. So these are plush. You're getting it. You're enjoying your stay here so far, Simba. Everything good? Everything fine? Everything nice?
Hey
Do, do,
everybody,
you, do,
welcome
you have,
to
do you have anything like that in the Pride Lands where lions come from?
another edition of the Northern Countdown. I am none other than your friendly neighborhood soda, and joined as always by my two co-hosts Ben and 50 Shades of visitors today. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, doing
You
well.
enjoying playing tour guide for Simba there, 50?
Yeah, it's part of the theme. I'm showing him what the human world looks like.
And I say you should just introduce the theme because you're the one with the presentation, and it was your choice.
No, it was mine, but thank you.
Shut up. I'm sick. Leave me alone.
Oh,
Oh,
Wow.
Sorry, Ben.
You're after me. How did that even work?
Okay, hold up. One thing you gotta know about smoking the amount of weed I did in 2021 is it screws up your memory. Okay, your short-term memory is done.
but this is 2022 soda. What's your excuse now?
I didn't stop. I never said I stopped. Okay, Ben, this is your list. If you wouldn't mind introducing us, and 50 can mime it out, I guess.
Yes, I wanted to do a fun list, so this is the top 5 fictional historical characters that we would want to bring into the modern century to show them what life is like in the year 2022. I just thought we could have a fun time being a tour guide.
And if I'm not mistaken, you got this idea from because last week I showed my two cousins for the very first time Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Isn't that how the idea for the list came about?
More or less, yes, more or less.
Yeah, and it's that movie. Those movies, man, still hits those kids at the right age, 14 and 11, and they ate it all up. Sorry, 12.
Did you didn't show them the third one?
Well, no, because I had to work the next morning, so I had to go to bed.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I would have. No, I just showed them the two original.
You know the third one, not bad. I liked
It's
it.
not. It's just I didn't have time to show it to them.
Yeah, I know.
This is by far the toughest list I've ever had to come up with. Because, well, at first you said fictional characters, not necessarily historical characters, and a lot of the characters that came to my mind, either why would they come to this miserable planet when life is so much better where they come from, or they already do live here. So yeah, this was a really tough list to put together, but I think I came up with a good list of 5 in the
So
end.
I went with 50's gonna love this. I went to combine Bill and Ted's meets Doctor Who approach to this. I used
Explain
Vincent,
yourself.
I used Vincent and the Doctor as a template.
Why didn't? Okay, I think I might have gone with that approach for one of my picks, but
I
not
went with that
any
for
of
all
the
mine.
others. Okay.
And I
No,
guarantee
it's not.
two of them
Mhm.
you have never heard of, but you're well indebted to their works.
Alrighty then.
Exciting.
Yeah, I went full historical. Okay, so Ben, since this is your list, you want to start it off?
My number 5, a Winkle Kid from Prison Shadows.
You want to bring Eugene Wilder up from there?
I think that character would have fun in these days, and I wouldn't mind just having a beer with him somewhere. He just seems like a really fun and cool, relaxing character.
Would you have him teach you how to be the fastest hands in LA?
So yeah, just as long as he teaches me with the right hand and not his.
Yeah. Do you have any idea what we're talking about, 50?
It's been a while since I've seen Blazing Saddles,
Okay.
and I think it's about time I correct that. But I do know who you're talking about.
Okay, good. Yeah, there are sometimes where I'm not 100% sure if you've seen the movie or not.
No, it's, hey fellas, look what I found. Where are the white women at?
Yeah, okay, he's seen it. He's definitely seen it. Yeah, the
Like I said, it's been well over 15 years.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
you should probably change that then.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Waco Kids is a fun choice, especially if you, like I said, you just want to sit down and have a beer with them.
Right.
So
Or some beans with him.
Oh dear God, no, my lord! You don't want me.
That's
in your
the
beans.
thing.
You don't want me in your beans. First time a fart ever appeared in a major motion picture, but
Right.
And only Mel Brooks could have thought of that.
right.
And
Okay,
make it-
Spoiler alert. The Waco Kid, not the only Mel Brooks character on my list. But we'll get there when we get there.
interesting. So my number 5 is the most recent person on this list, having died within the last 30 years, just. But, like I said, I used the end of Vincent and the Doctor as my template, and it turns out for most of my list. I would like to bring Jonathan Larson to the present and show him exactly what his works mean to the world. And for those of you who don't know, Jonathan Larson is the writer of the hit Broadway musical Rent. And unfortunately, he passed away the day before the very first preview screening of the show. He never got to see his work performed live. And it's impacted so many people. And I would just like the Doctor did with Vincent, bring him to the future to give him a chance to see, look, your works matter.
Is that like...
Tick, tick, boom, Andrew Garfield. That's
yeah, I mean, okay. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Andrew Garfield didn't pay his rent?
Yeah, but
I owe you one from yesterday.
You do.
I owe you. I told you, do not mess with me. It's gonna come back around and hit you.
Wait, I forget. What did you say?
It's not something he said. It's something he did. Watch tomorrow's show of Greatest Show in the Galaxy to see exactly what.
Oh,
it was such a long show that I don't remember.
Me remembers. Misa remember.
See, I remember your reaction. I just don't remember what it was for. Like I said, it was a long show, folks. We almost did 3 hours talking about Daleks.
It was fun. I had fun.
Exterminate soda. Exterminate soda.
I had no idea there were so many form of Daleks, dear Lord. But yeah, that's who my number 5 would be, is because I would like this Jonathan Larson to actually see his work made a difference in the world. And Rent really did make a difference in the world. All right, 50.
Okay, so my number 5. So some of us went the fictional route. Some of us went historical route. This one, it's a bit in the realm of uncertainty at the moment. Someone I'm not really sure if they're from the past or from the future or from some fictional universe outright. But one thing you can't say for certain about this character is, even though it's uncertain where this guy is from, it is definitely proven that he is from infinity and beyond.
Nice.
Buzz Lightyear, specifically the Chris Evans version that we haven't seen yet.
So the one we're getting, the one we're just about to get.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, just that last trailer really, really hooked me, because the other trailers, they looked fine. They didn't grab me as much. This one really did. And it looks like there's going to be time travel in this movie. So I was always just curious if this guy inspired an action figure in what appears to be the 90s-ish in the Toy Story universe, then why is there so much advanced technology in the trailers? Why does it look like it takes place in the 2020s? It's like, oh, it's a completely fictionalized story, so it doesn't matter.
Well,
So,
actually, what I had heard, again, this is just like one of those theories has not been confirmed, but this is the movie that launched the Buzz Lightyear toy line in the Toy Story series.
that's what I'm going. That's what they said in the press release when they announced this movie. That this is the story that inspired the action figure. I thought they were talking about a real astronaut in the Toy Story universe. I thought this was the Toy Story universe's equivalent of Neil Armstrong.
Hey, somebody likes your pick, and
Hey,
I'm not gonna lie, I can't wait for this movie. This last trailer sold me.
This was this was the one project I was most excited about coming out of that Disney presentation, and they announced like Doctor Strange 2 and the Ahsoka series in that one. This was the one I really was excited about out of all the things that they presented in that one. But yeah,
I'm really excited too, and I have one question for you guys. Is that cat a flukin?
See,
No.
you thought Captain Marvel as well, didn't you, when you saw the trailer? Because that's what I thought. I thought movies in that vein, like Captain Marvel, Demolition Man, and what have you, where they get taken out of the Planet of the Apes, where they get taken out of their time and brought into the future without realizing it.
Yeah, but it's established in the previous trailer that the cat is just a robot that talks to.
It wasn't the cat that gave me the Captain Marvel vibes for myself.
No, but Ben is asking if the cat is a flurkin.
I mean, joking.
I know, Ben. Wasn't a very good joke. I'm just saying.
Ooh, boy, there's some fighting down here in the Northern Countdown, folks.
Again, watch tomorrow's show about the Daleks.
Yeah.
For the full context, folks.
Oy. All right, Ben, who's your number 4?
I'm not, well, okay. It's Merlin from like any of like all three Merlin. I don't think having him in the present day could be really cool. You could ask him to help out with the certain stuff with his magic. And I would really love to see him in the present day.
See, I almost went a similar route with one of them. I almost went King Arthur just for fun of it, but then I'm like, I've read Camelot 3000, so it's kind of already been done. If I were to pick a version of Merlin, I probably would go with the animated Sword in the Stone version, because I think it would be hilarious to watch that version try to fumble the way through modern times. I really do.
But in that movie, he does visit modern times at one point.
Right, but I'm talking like 21st century.
Yeah, he visits Bermuda in the 20th century.
God, it's been so long, I forgot about that.
I've seen the movie as well.
Yeah, well, it has been too long since I've seen that movie, but unlike Blazing Saddles, I've seen that movie about 50 times when I was a kid. So.
Oh, there you go. It's one movie that I didn't watch a lot as a kid. It was like I watched a couple times. It was one that nobody in my circle owned.
I like that movie, but the King Arthur movie that I watched over and over and over again growing up.
A Kid in King Arthur's Court.
A Kid in King Arthur's Court.
That was just a guess, folks.
I love that movie. Going back and looking at that movie, the cast is unreal.
I've seen the movie once when it came out on VHS 30 years ago. Almost.
You know who's in that?
Yeah, Thomas Ian, the kid from Rookie of the Year in American Pie.
But you know who else is in that?
No, it's been a long time.
Daniel Craig and Kate Winslet.
Really?
Yeah.
Daniel Craig, I believe, because I've seen him in an episode of Young Indiana Jones. But Kate Winslet, that's interesting. Let me guess, she's the female lead?
She's the older daughter of the two.
Oh, okay. Makes sense. There was a point in time where that seemed to be like what she was mostly known for.
And the king is the Mighty Ducks. Help me out here.
Oh, Joss Ackland, who played Hans.
Hans, right.
Yeah, this isn't a bad cast at all.
It's a fun movie.
I haven't seen it in many years. If I'm gonna watch a baseball movie with this guy, it's gonna be Little Big League, or not Little Big League. Rookie of the Year.
Love that movie too.
Yeah.
Frankie Mutlamy.
You know what I just realized? Sorry to bring this back to the Sword and the Stone for a second, but you know what I just realized about Merlin from that movie? He's basically the genie from Aladdin before that movie existed.
Yeah.
In a way, yeah, without the impressions.
Yeah, really.
Woody Woodpecker. That's an interesting choice.
Ooh. Sorry, I can never.
When I was younger, I used to do the laugh, but now I got older and.
Yeah, I woke up half an hour ago, so.
Yeah. No, not even close. My voice is still.
Oh wait, no,
wrong character, buddy. Wrong character.
Okay, so that what your number one platform?
Okay, so this one is actually the only one that I really did envision with the Doctor in mind. I would like for the version of Shakespeare we see in the Shakespeare Code to be brought forward by the Doctor to see what the 21st century would be like with Tennant's Doctor and Martha. I think that would be
that sounds amazing. That's excellent.
Yeah, and with the one reason why I gravitated towards that is that always that line that I always remembered. I'm probably going to screw it up, though. It's 54 scholars just punch the air, or 45 scholars, whatever, referring to the one sonnet. That
57 academics.
That's the one. 57 academics just punch the air because sonnet 57 is long rumored to have been written by Shakespeare to a guy. So just based on that, I would love to see Shakespeare be exposed to modern 21st century New York or LA, or actually probably more London. Don't make it too much of a shock to them.
You know, the main thing about that episode is David Tennant got his start doing Shakespeare plays. Like before he was known as the Doctor, he was mostly famous for playing Hamlet on stage. So it would be nice. What if they actually take Shakespeare to see
a Shakespeare play?
A Shakespeare play in the Globe where David Tennant plays Hamlet.
Yeah. You can do anything with that. It showed just how far his works have impeded pop culture, because you can almost trace anything back to Shakespeare.
Yeah, for obvious reasons, they couldn't do that for Agatha Christie, of course, or I suppose Charles Dickens. But yeah, Shakespeare, you could do that. And if you're gonna do the Vincent and the Doctor approach, where you take Van Gogh to a museum to show him all of his works, you can just show Shakespeare all of the adaptations of his plays, including the best adaptation of a Shakespeare play, The Lion King.
Yeah, I see you said the best adaptation. I was like, oh, here it comes. Actually, for fun, show him the first two, because Romeo and Juliet's number 2.
Yeah. And just for fun, show him 1.5.
See, but what I would do first, though, if I were to show him 1.5, I would show him Guildenstern and Rosencrantz Are Dead, the play that's based off of. Basically, they took 2 minor characters from Shakespeare's play, like Timon and Pumbaa. Well, they're not minor, but you know.
Wait, that wasn't originally his Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Okay, okay. I did not know that.
Yeah, no, I think that particular version of William Shakespeare brought to the current present day by the 10th Doctor, and for a whole episode, I think would be hilarious. And then we end it on the Vincent van Gogh moment, where this is what you mean to the world.
Yeah, it's the circle of life, man.
All right, Ben. All right, 50. Sorry, what's your number 4?
That's the second time this happened this episode.
Just leave me alone. I haven't eaten yet.
Me neither. So why the hell not? So I'm sorry. So I had an interesting week.
Just as your mom pops in the chat.
The king has returned. So
ew. No, I would never show him that movie. I'd make him that movie would make him go bald faster.
Anyways, so I had a bit of an interesting week before what we did with the Dalek episode. Well, 2 days earlier, I finally did my my Passover tradition that I do every year, which is watch The Prince of Egypt again. I do that every year on Passover. And you know what?
If you don't mind me asking, why that movie?
It's the one I grew up with. I mean, why not?
Okay, because I do enjoy the movie. It's just out of all the, I don't know. I guess out of all the movies that take place around time, I was just curious around that one. But I guess because it's the one you grew up with.
That one is the most. It's the most. I think it's the best. It's the most. It's the most accurate to the actual story. Oh. It actually features an Israeli singer at the beginning, and I'm pretty sure that the movie was done in coherence with Hebrew-speaking people to make sure a lot of the stuff made sense in the movie, and also it's also really funny, and it really hits you when it needs to.
So I like that movie personally. I like the Ten Commandments a little bit more.
You're talking the Charlton Heston Ten Commandments?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one I grew up on, oddly enough. That's because my family watched that every Easter.
Anyway, I figured if we're going to do Vincent and the Doctor, that approach, let's just bring Moses to show him what he did like 5,000 years later.
Yeah.
Probably would be disappointed a little bit, but seeing what we became, but just and also that really what he did was kind of undone like 10 times after that. But
yeah,
beside the point, to show him we're still around, we're still kicking, and we're still thriving, like what God had intended. Obvious problem with that. Obvious problem with that is that Moses wasn't allowed to enter the promised land. So you kind of have to bend some rules there, but
wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
Yeah, it's a timey wimey thing. Timey what? Timey wimey? Day of the Doctor, folks.
I was thinking about historical figures in that vein, but then it's just like they would want to go home right away if they saw where we were at as a society. So I just stayed away from that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Moses would too, especially that Moses was from that movie. And in that movie we don't really get to see the golden calf and what happened there.
Like they cut out a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but I mean they cut it out at the precise moment they needed to.
Yeah,
in that movie, I think.
Yeah, that movie it's a shorter version of all the stories you've seen prior, but it gets the point better.
It gets the point across. That's why I think it's the best.
Yeah, and I agree. I remember seeing that in theaters when it came out.
And it's about half the length of the Ten Commandments.
Yeah, no kidding. The Ten Commandments is still a great movie. All right, Ben. What's your next one?
My next one is somebody loyal. He'll have your back doing what? Then don't follow him when he's eating. Golf. From Spaceballs.
Okay, I was expecting something from Young Frankenstein for your other Mel Brooks character. You explain Barf.
Come on, he's a great guy. He's loyal. He's a great gold captain. Don't you think you would have a great time with him? Just eating together and like having a beer, talking about good times, going on adventures in the present day. Come on, wouldn't that be fun?
It would be interesting to see who would win in a fight for the last chili dog, me or Barf.
Never bother him when he's eating. That's all I have to say.
That's true. Never bother. Yeah, same here. I think that would be kind of fun. Kind of have that psychic was making you laugh.
the best thing about him is he's his own best friend.
Yep,
Yeah.
that is true. So he
Yeah.
no problem being alone.
Yeah. But fun fact though, about Spaceballs, the War Doctor's in there. Speaking of Doctor Who,
Yes, he is.
Mm-hmm.
I saw like a there's on this Doctor Who Facebook group that I'm on. Someone posted a picture from way back in the day of David Tennant, Matt Smith, Billy Piper, Jenna Coleman, and John Hurt at a restaurant
I
together
saw the
eating dinner.
picture. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, I wrote in the comments the 10th Doctor, the 11th Doctor, the Bad Wolf, the Impossible Girl, and the War Doctor are sitting in a bar. But my favorite comment that I saw in that thread was, "I really hope someone made sure that no one tries to slip something into John Hurt's food, like what happened in Spaceballs."
Oh, nice.
Oh no, not again!
I saw that scene before I saw the original Alien.
Me too. Me too. Me too. It's like, oh, that's where I got it from.
Yep.
Oh
My
shit!
baby.
There goes the planet. The
Yep.
reference is in that. I think, you know what? I've got some spare time. I think I might watch that movie after we're done the show, just
Can't
for
go wrong
fun.
with that.
It's another one that I haven't seen in a long time.
Can't
Should
go wrong
probably
with
do
that.
a double feature with that and Blazing Saddles, though.
Oh, that's a great double feature for Mel Brooks.
And Young Frankenstein into that mix. Making
And
it, making
First
it,
the Men in Tights.
I don't have that much free time, but okay.
Yeah, his Passover is passed over.
It's past.
Yeah. Shuffle loose this mortal coil. It's deceased. Okay, it's like it's
what? What
It
the
is an
heck? What the heck?
ex-holiday. It is an ex-holiday.
50 knew exactly where I was going with that. The dead parrot sketch.
Let me guess. Let me guess. This leads into your number 3, right?
Actually, no, it doesn't. Although I think
You said something that completely went over my head.
yeah, I started doing euphemisms for death, which is from the parrot sketch from Monty Python. You've never seen the parrot sketch?
Move on.
Okay, I shall show you this afterwards. So my number 3 is another in the vein of Doctor Who. Literally in this one is Leonardo da Vinci.
Ooh, I like that.
Just think, if you look back through all of the notes we have from Leonardo da Vinci of all his designs and all of his ideas, and to think how hundreds of years later in the future we would be more elaborating on them, I would really like to bring him to the future to show him, like, look, you weren't crazy. Like, look what your ideas became. Like, look at us now.
He invented the airplane.
That's what I was about to say. Show him an airplane. Like, look where his idea is now. Show him how scientists use his diagram of anatomy. That person standing there, whose name I can never... The Vitruvian Man, I think it's called? Vitruvian Man. Show him how scientists are still using that hundreds of years after his death for the basic understanding of anatomy. That drawing was done in the 1500s, 1400s.
Yeah.
And
He actually analyzed a dead pregnant woman to figure out what an embryo looks like in the womb. Bit morbid, obviously, but I mean, yeah, it is what it is. Someone had to do it. He analyzed a human brain for the very first time in his diagram. He came up with so much.
This is a little bit of a paragraph from the description of Wikipedia. Revered for his technological ingenuity, he conceptualized flying machines, a type of armored fighting vehicle, concentrated solar power, an adding machine, and the double hull. Relatively few designs were constructed or even feasible during his lifetime, as the modern scientific approaches to metallurgy and engineering were only in their infancy during the Renaissance. Some of the smaller inventions, however, entered the world of manufacturing unheralded, such as an automated bobbin winder and a machine for testing the tensile strength of wire. He made substantial discoveries in anatomy, civil engineering, hydrodynamics, geology, optics, and tribology, but he did not publish his findings. They had little to little to no direct influence on subsequent science. But to be able to show this man that, look, you were ahead of your time.
Man
And
was a genius.
it's argued he's the godfather of all this.
Yeah.
I like that. I like
And,
anime.
So there was a little bit of confusion. I couldn't think of fictional characters much. All of mine were historical characters, and again, based off of that Doctor Who episode. So it's
Yeah.
lists are a little bit of both.
That's why it was so hard for me to come up with this list.
Mhm.
But also, fun fact, he was a really good friend of the Fourth Doctor.
There you go.
Never actually appeared in Doctor Who, but the Fourth Doctor spoke very highly of him. And there was an episode centered around the Mona Lisa a lot.
Oh, nice.
Which is actually the most viewed episode of Doctor Who still to this day.
Oh, that's
Wow.
cool. That's
Which, to bring it back to Monty Python, features a cameo by John Cleese.
Oh, the great John Cleese. I love that, man. But yeah, that's who I would bring forward, Leonardo da Vinci, to show him that you're responsible for all this, motherfucker.
I like that.
Yeah, maybe
That's a good
not
one.
say that. Maybe not
No,
say
not
that.
well. Okay, yeah. Let's try to figure this one out. You're responsible for all this, jackass. All right,
Well, why are you saying my ass is jacked?
right? Well, okay, 50. Your next one.
Flintstones, beat the Flintstones. They're a modern Stone Age family. So, the Flintstones traveled to the future once and met the Jetsons. Then, obviously, it happened backwards. Sorry. Not necessarily in that order, but you get the meaning. The Flintstones, the original sitcom family that inspired so many of the ones that are still in circulation today.
Mhm.
Why not bring them to the modern era to see just how far in advanced their technology was compared to ours?
Make
Except
them a
we didn't-
really true modern Stone Age family.
Yeah, except we didn't use live animals as machinery.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're pretty much more advanced than we are. Just, in the Stone Age.
That actually would be pretty fun. That's another one where I would like to see the madcap adventures of them having to deal with modern life.
You know what I would like to do with the Flintstones? I would like to go bowling with Fred and
Barney?
Barney.
Barney.
Yeah, I think it would be a lot of fun to join the Low Order of Water Buffaloes. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Just make sure that if you're bowling with them, make sure you're on their team because they seem to have some crazy stupid luck whenever they bowl.
And you guys ever tried to bowl like Fred Flintstone? It doesn't quite work.
No.
Yeah, because it's not supposed to.
I was a child, 50. Don't judge me.
I know. I was in the neighborhood.
I'm kidding. Yeah, it's just like that in the Happy Gilmore swing. Yep. No, the Happy Gilmore swing is another one, and that only works like 1 out of 10 times.
Can I just say, John Goodman made the perfect Fred Flintstone?
Agreed.
Yeah. Wish the movie was better, but yeah.
The movie
I like
is
that movie.
better than people give it credit for, but it's too dark to be a Flintstones movie.
Yeah, it's like it zigs and zags too far in the opposite directions.
Yeah.
And Rick Moranis as Barney really was perfect casting.
All the casting of the 4 was great casting. So mine, next one, my number 2.
No, I'm on my number.
Oh, sorry, you have this one. So sorry.
I would bring this next person to modern time. You help me train for a fight I might be in, and did he want how he would do it in old times? Because I can't think of anybody better than the Grand Jedi Master Yoda.
So would we be bringing him back to our time or forward to our time?
Yeah, because he's from a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, man.
Oh no, it still counts. It still counts. based on that, it's like, yeah, would we have to go forward? Would we have to go backwards?
Well,
Probably.
I mean, to answer your question, Soda, it's Yoda. He kind of speaks backwards.
That's
some
true.
of the time.
That's true.
Like he speaks timey wimey, wibbly wobbly.
That is true. That is true.
Wibbly wobbly, I am.
So what would you like with Yoda? Because I think that would be interesting.
And I want him to train me not only in the Jedi ways. I just want to get to know him. I want to pick his brain. I want to show him what life is like in the present day. And I want to bring him to parties because I think he would be a fun party guest.
He definitely would be a fun party guest, that's for sure.
Life of the party I can be.
Double dip, do not.
Are you a double dipper?
When I'm by myself, yes. When I'm in public, no. Well, it's just when I'm by myself, is who cares? It's my germs.
Yeah, I'm not finding you.
Flip it around.
I'm finding you.
Yeah, no, I'm at home. I am, but in public, I'm not.
Are you a double dipper?
I have no idea what that means. I couldn't think of.
So double dipping is, at least as an example, you take a chip, you dip it in your dip, you take a bite, you take the same chip, and you dip it again and take a bite. That's what a double dip is.
Of course. I mean, isn't that what everyone does?
It's from a Simpsons, a Seinfeld episode. It's a famous bit from a Seinfeld episode.
Oh.
Just because if some people do consider it, unhygienic to double dip like that in public, that's why I don't do it in public.
Well,
unless I'm like with my family or something like that, I don't give two shits.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing: if you're only dipping it in your own bowl of sauce, then who gives a shit?
Exactly. That's why.
If you're with other people, then yeah, you probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Especially after in a post-COVID world, but.
You know what
anyway,
I just realized, Ben? I think are George Costanza minus like overdoing it. 50 is our George.
Oh.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey. George is the best character on that show.
Yeah.
We live in a society. No.
Who am I?
It was shrinkage.
So who did that make me, Soda?
You're fucking Jerry.
I'll take that.
I guess that makes
so does that make you? Yeah, I was about to say.
I'm Kramer.
I would say, ironically, a while ago you could have convinced me that Jess was Kramer because she has a habit of jumping into streams when she's not invited to.
That is true. That is true.
But yeah, going back to Star Wars for a second, I couldn't think of a single Star Wars character I wanted to put on my list because, I mean, why would any of them want to come here? Couldn't think of a good enough excuse to bring any of them here. That's my excuse for not putting a Star Wars character on my list.
Thank you. So now, who's your number 2, my man?
Do either of you know the name Louis Le Prince?
No, but I feel like we're about you. Go ahead.
Enlighten us, Mr. Sode.
Louis Le Prince was a French artist and the inventor of an early motion picture camera, possibly the first person to shoot a moving picture sequence using a single lens camera and a strip of paper film. He has been credited as the father of cinematography, but his work did not influence the commercial development of cinema, owing at least in part to the great secrecy surrounding it. So he was a Frenchman who worked in the United Kingdom and the States. Experiments culminated in 1888 in Leeds, England, where in October of that year he filmed moving picture sequences of family members in Roundhay Garden and his son playing the accordion, using his single lens camera in Eastman's paper negative film. At some point in the following 18 months, he also made a film of Leeds Bridge. This work may have been slightly in advance of the innovations of contemporary moving picture pioneers such as William Friese Greene and Wordsworth Donisthorpe, and years in advance of Auguste and Louis Lumiere, and William Kennedy Dixon, who did the moving image work for Edison. He was never able to perform a planned public demonstration of his camera in the U.S. because he mysteriously vanished. He was last known to be boarding a train on September 16, 1890. Multiple conspiracy theories have emerged about the reason for his disappearance, including a murder set up by Edison, secret homosexuality, disappearance in order to start a new life, and a murder by his brother over their mother's will. No evidence exists of any of these, and the most likely explanation remains that he committed suicide, overcome by the shame of heavy debts and the apparent failure of his experiments. In 2004, a police archive in Paris was found to contain a photograph of a drowned man bearing a strong resemblance to Le Prince, who was discovered in the Seine just after the time of his disappearance. And of course, in early 1890, Edison workers began experimenting with using a strip of celluloid film to capture moving images, which Le Prince's widow and son were keen to advance Louis Le Prince's cause as the inventor of cinematography, and sued Edison in 1898 for that right. The courts filed in Edison's favor. A year later, the ruling was overturned, but of course, Edison, being the sneaky son of a bitch he was, just reissued the patents and succeeded in controlling the U.S. film industry for years. So this is basically the guy that is responsible for motion pictures.
Wow.
Cinema.
Yeah, cinema. So yeah, I would like. This is another one where, if that's the case, if he committed suicide because of being dead, whatever, that's another one I would like to Doctor Who it up and bring him forward. It's like,
Maybe that's what happened to him.
It wasn't in vain, my friend. Right? It opens it up for a perfect Doctor Who adventure. But
Maybe that's what happened to him, and he's been living among us all this time.
But yeah, when first time I read that, I was like, that is so fascinating. The father of cinematography, and nobody knows what happened to him.
So here's a question. If you brought him here and if you could introduce him to one cinematographer, who would you introduce him to?
Isn't the answer obvious?
Is
I
it?
don't
Oh,
know.
you said cinematographer, not okay. Never mind.
Who do you think it was going to be?
Well, you said cinematographer. I thought you meant director.
Well, director, obviously Spielberg, but there's a few. Oh God, what's the guy who did Blade Runner?
What's the name of the guy that won like 4 or 5 Academy Awards? The guy that the cinematographer for The Revenant. The Latino guy. He's got a Latino name.
Oh, he was the director. And you want to?
No. Inuatu was the cinematographer or the director?
Director.
Because I'm pretty sure that the director of The Revenant worked with a legendary cinematographer. I think.
Are you thinking of Deakins?
Well, okay, I was thinking of Deakins, yes, but
Okay.
no. If you watch who's the director, and it was cinematographer was Emmanuel Lubezki from The Revenant. I've unfortunately never heard. I don't recall any other work from this person.
But yeah, I don't know why I thought The Revenant, but yeah, Deakins. Yeah.
If there was a modern one, I probably would have to go with Janusz Kaminski, because he was Spielberg's cinematographer through like the 90s particularly. So he did Schindler's List, he did Lost World, Jurassic Park, he did all of those big Spielberg ones. Plus he actually did a Kevin Smith movie, so it's a little bit in there too.
Did he do what?
So Roger Deakins and Janusz Kaminski would probably be the two I would introduce him to. But yeah, that's if you guys are if anybody watching or YouTube are more curious, you should definitely look up Louis the Prince. It's fascinating. It's an interesting cold case story. Really is.
Here's an interesting fact that I just discovered yesterday. Do you know when, without looking this up, Soda, do you know when the first 3D movie was shown to a wide audience?
Probably pre-1950, because I know they have 3D movies in 1950.
I'm going to guess 1980 something with Source 3D.
3D movies were around before then.
Dude, I swear I'm not doing this on purpose, Ben, but in Back to the Future Part 2, one of the guys in sorry, actually the first one in Back to the Future, one of the guys in Biff Tannen's group has 3D glasses all the time.
3D was a gimmick in the 1950s.
Yeah.
All right, I made a
Or
mistake.
game.
But yeah, it was 1922.
That
Oh
early.
wow,
Yeah, and the name of the movie, speaking of Back to the Future, was The Power of Love.
nice.
Dun, 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 dun.
I
That's cool.
I found that out because it was written on the table cover of the restaurant that I went to with my mom yesterday, which is they had all these weird random facts. One of which was like the Friends cast get $20 million a year for every re
They do not
You
ever
were?
need to work again.
and that was a lot of crazy, like a lot of stuff I knew, like octopuses and squids having 3 hearts. I knew that, but a lot of weird random facts that I had no idea before.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Oh, 50. What?
I found the Wikipedia page for the Power of
What?
Love. I found the Wikipedia page for the Power of Love. I did it.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Okay,
As
so
soon
that
as I
was-
saw that, I looked it up immediately.
Yeah, me too. I was like, it's interesting. I didn't realize it was that far back.
Yeah, I mean, you know what's even crazier? This is even before talking movies happened.
Yeah,
In
yeah, right.
1957.
Good 5 years. 5
Yeah.
years.
Okay, question for Ben, because I'm pretty sure Soda knows this. What was the first talking movie
Oh,
in the world?
Jesus.
We're no. I don't know.
Oh. I can do the line. I know the line. I know the very first line. Now, wait a minute. You ain't seen nothing yet. The jazz singer. That was the very first line uttered on film.
Nice.
5 points to Soda Door. Griffin Soda. Never mind.
And of course, it was a movie about a Jewish guy who does blackface. So,
Mm. Mm.
Not. That's why you probably don't know it, because people don't want to admit.
It's one of those movies that you can't ignore because of the historical significance of it. It's like W.D. Griffith. It's like D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation. That movie is incredibly racist, and it goes against so many societal standards. But it's one of those movies. It has this place. It has a significant place in film history, so it's kind of hard to ignore.
Yeah.
All right, so that was my number 2. So 50. 9 numero dos.
Okay, so to bring this back to Doctor Who, something I never do, obviously.
Doctor Who.
Doctor what? So yeah, I recently got very much invested in Doctor When.
No. Doctor Where? And sometimes Doctor How.
I'm gonna want.
Okay, this is annoying. 50. What's your number 2?
I'm gonna one up both of you guys, Doctor Who. So, I've recently gotten into the Big Finish show, series I should say, Gallifrey, which happens to feature both Romana and Leela, 2 companions of the Fourth Doctor that never actually met each other on screen, but they're really good friends on and off mic, I should say, in the Gallifrey series. So for some reason, and don't judge me, but I was considering for my list, that's actually the first name that popped into my head. Again, don't judge me, but how about just Leela?
Oh. Because she's originally prehistoric, I'm assuming, right?
No, she's actually from the future, but at a later point where just her ship, well, her ancestors' ship crash landed on this planet, and the crew sort of became the inhabitants of the planet, but they sort of lost their way and mythologized their history, and they sort of became split into 2 groups: a primitive tribe called the Savatine, and these race of highly advanced beings called the Tesh, which, again, spoilers for a 40-year-old episode. The Sava team are actually the survey team, and the Tesh were the technicians, or the descendants of the survey team and the technician. That's why. So yeah, it's a mixture of futuristic and sort of primitive. And she's basically, for Doctor Who context, she's basically Pocahontas without the racism. So, and the main thing about Leela is, even though she comes from this primitive and, as they say a lot in the Gallifrey show, savage upbringing and savage backstory, she's surprisingly intelligent and clever, and also very, very kind, despite her aggressive demeanor and her bloodlust at times. So, to have a character like that in the modern world, that would be an interesting dynamic. Now, obviously, it's been done-ish by the Doctor, but for the most part, at least in the televised episodes, they didn't spend a lot of time in modern-day Earth, or at least contemporary for that time. Like I believe the one notable time where they were both on Earth was in the infamously racist episode, "The Talons of Weng Chiang," which was in Victorian age. So, that's about as close to Earth. I mean, and I suppose Horror of Fangrock, which also took place, I believe, in Victorian era. But modern day, they never done. Well, I should say the 21st century. They never done anything with Leela, at least not in the show. Maybe they didn't finish. I don't know.
I think it would actually be pretty fun. I think she'd probably be the best candidate, to show modern times to all of them.
Out of all the Doctor Who companions,
because they all come from modern time Earth.
Most of them, yeah.
Most of them, yeah. I like that. I really do.
Right. Nice.
And again, don't judge me, but one of the things I've really enjoyed doing the past couple of days was seeing a movie and imagining Leela sitting next to me, and I'm explaining to her the context of what's happening.
So what I think is 50's secretly trying to tell us is he has a crush on Leela.
Hey,
hey man, no arguments here.
I did say don't judge me, but Louise Jameson did just celebrate her, I believe her 71st birthday this past week. And I mean, she looks better in her 70s than I do in my 20s. So,
Okay. Hey man, no judgment here.
Yep. No.
No judgment here. All right, Ben. Oh, actually, no, wait. If there's any honorable mentions, speak now or forever hold your peace.
I have to.
Okay.
I go from Young Frankenstein.
Natch.
What?
I said naturally. Well, I said natch, but naturally.
Oh.
So we can show, hey, you know that line, walk this way? It spawned a song.
And, Guy from Free Guy.
Ooh, that would be wild.
Ooh! I didn't think...
Could he get in Free Guy too? Could he actually come here? No.
Maybe. I really hope we get a Free Guy too, because I really like the first one.
Yeah. But, yeah, those are mine too.
Any from you, 50? Because I had none.
Me neither. I really tried hard to come up with a list of 5.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ben. It's the moment of truth.
Okay.
Giving it all.
Okay, my number 1 might be considered a cheat, but I don't care because...
And 50's gone with the shot across the bow. Sorry.
Well, as we say in my language, khaki khaki. Or as another thing we like to say, haval.
I'm assuming one of those means eat shit.
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that to my mom. Come on.
I have. But that's a North American thing. I will fully admit to that.
Okay.
That might be in Canada. That might be a Canada thing. That might be a Canada thing.
Maybe. The only time I'll ever say anything like that to my mom is if she makes fun of me like that, because I make fun of her like that, and she says the same thing back to me. That's the relationship I have with my family.
Okay, that might be a. Then it might be a sort of thing. It might be a sort of thing.
Yeah. Or in other words, blame Canada.
I ain't your buddy, guy. All right, sorry. 50.
Okay.
Sorry about all that.
No,
sorry.
my number one, man, my number one. I ain't too for because you can't really take one without the other. I want to go on an all-day eating fest with these two. I think they would be so fun. Mary and Pippin from Middle.
That's a really allowable cheat, because that would be a fun time.
So that's why you said in the green room that you can't use your number one because it's a cheat?
Yeah.
Spoiler alert! That's very similar to my number one.
Oh. Okay.
Mine's another historical figure that is very important to history.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think Mary and Pippin would be a hell of a fun Vegas.
100%. Who would want to have second breakfast with those two? I would.
Me too. Second.
Like, those are honestly two of my favorite characters in those movies because they're hilarious. They're the side.
The Rosencrantz and Guildenstern of the Lord of the Rings story.
Exactly. God, could you imagine a Lord of the Rings movie from their perspective, like fully from their perspective? That would be fun. That would be fun.
That would be fun. Who do you like more, Mario and Pippin, or do you think of them one and the same?
I do think of them one and the same, mostly because I still don't know which is which.
I think I have finally figured it out. I have to show you later because I don't have any pictures.
Yeah, for me, it's Mary and Pippin. It's fun.
Hey, you can't split them up. You can't.
It's like Timon and Pumbaa.
Yeah.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. You can't separate the two.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I want to let him eat his first before mine, because his is more in vain with yours, and mine's going to be in a history lesson.
Oh, so you don't want to tell us why Jesus is your number one?
To be honest, I almost put him on my list just for shits and giggles. Fine, I will go with my number. I will do it then. Does the name Francois Vidocq mean anything to you?
Is it the father of Donald Duck or Duffy Duck?
No. Francois Vidocq was a French criminal turned criminologist whose life story inspired several writers, including Victor Hugo and Edgar Allan Poe. The former criminal became the founder and first director of the crime detection Sûreté Nationale, as well as the head of the first known private detective agency. He is considered to be the father of modern criminology and of the French police department. He is also regarded as the first private detective. So let's put it this way. Without Vidocq, we wouldn't have Batman. We wouldn't have Sherlock Holmes. This is the guy that created that whole thing, and he's a real person. So his criminology legacy. So he remodeling of the French force. When Vidocq gave his allegiance to the police around 1810, there were two police organizations in France. On the one side, there was the Police Politique, an intelligence agency whose agents were responsible for the detection of conspiracies and intrigues. And on the other hand, the normal police who investigated common crimes such as theft, fraud, prostitution, and murder. Vidocq persuaded his superiors to allow his agents, who also included women, to wear plain clothes and disguise themselves on the situation. Thus, they did not attract attention, and as former criminals also knew the hiding places and methods of criminals. So with him, we have going undercover. Wow. Identification of criminals. It was stated in the book, which is German, and I don't want to pronounce that Vidocq had a photographic memory that allowed him to recognize previously convicted criminals even in disguise. Another biographer reported about a trial against a fraudster, which Vidocq referred to his memory of the accused. So basically, because of him, now we have police lineups. We have the very first cataloging system of criminals and all of their known offenses. He was also the first to introduce forensic science into police work, and this is like hundreds of years ago. So with him, he was introduced chemical compounds, crime scene investigation, and ballistics into modern day policing. All 200 some years ago.
You know what the only problem I have with this pick, Soda?
Hmm.
This guy probably would be a target for a lot of people nowadays.
Maybe if he went about policing his work, but I would like to see him. I don't know. I kind of like to see his take on where his contributions to policing have carried it. And here's another thing he's responsible for. So he is the basis for two characters from Les Miserables. The two main characters, Jean Valjean and Police Inspector Javert, were both based off of Vidocq.
Wow.
I came across some one day. I was just randomly looking up for documentaries on YouTube, and I found a documentary on it, and I watched it. And I was like, holy shit. Wow. This guy's important. Like, basically, he created what is, like, the first form of, like, Secret Service police and stuff like that. Like, pretty much everything that we just take for granted now in policing, this guy came up with in the 1800s.
Cool. Now I'm actually feeling less confident in my number one.
I'm sorry. I want to go last.
My number one kind of feels lame by comparison. And I
want to go last. Yeah, but go ahead.
Okay, so Ben had two people in his number one. I'm going to have a group of people that I just think would be really cool to show them planet Earth as it is today. The Guardians of the Galaxy.
Dude.
They never really got a good look at. Well, I guess maybe Rocket did, but they never got a good chance to look at planet Earth when they were here in the last two Avengers movies. And Star-Lord came from here, and he never came back.
That's true.
So let's bring them to Earth and show them this wonderful planet that Peter's been spent all that time talking about.
Oh, I think that would be a lot of fun because it's another one where it's just like the shenanigans they would get up to would be hilarious.
Yeah, that's a great pick, 50.
Okay, pop quiz. Who's your favorite Guardian?
Peter.
I go back and forth on a lot of these, but for now, I'm going to say Drax. Particularly because of his similarities to another character with a similar sounding name.
Santar. Ha!
I was waiting for Ben to figure it out. Why did you give it away?
Because we might have been here for a little bit. No offense.
Yeah, I wouldn't have never figured that out. Wow.
See, for me, it bounced between Rocket and Peter.
Yeah.
And folks, play the Guardians of the Galaxy game that just came out. It was a lot of fun. I think it does better at presenting the team dynamics than the movie does.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, 50, for the wet fart.
Thanks. Fun fact, though, Drax is the name of one of the Doctor's best friends from the Academy. Who, we see him in an episode actually calling the Doctor by his nickname, Theta Sigma.
I've heard that before. That would be Colin Baker?
Tom Baker. The other Baker. The superior Baker.
Oh,
the one with a better bakery.
Frig. Now I want baked goods. Well, does anyone else have anything else to add to these lists?
Not only that I want these to really happen one day. I would love to have a plank with all my picks.
For me, it's just I want to see them finally understand that the people in my thing, that their contributions to history did go into vain. Especially for ones like Louis Le Prince, who unfortunately mysteriously disappeared, and Jonathan Larson, who passed away before his greatest work even got shown. Yeah. Even Shakespeare, I don't think probably would have understood the vast breadth of his impact.
I'm just curious, how is it? I'm sorry, 50?
No, I was going to say, because in your pick you specifically went for the Doctor Who version of Shakespeare. I think meaning
But I think Shakespeare in general would have understand the breadth of, like, no matter which version of Shakespeare it is. You're right. I need to go with the Doctor Who one because I think that would be funnier. But I don't think any version would have quite understand. Just like Vincent Van Gogh didn't understand. Like, you're working packs, people, man.
Yeah, but there's a huge difference between Van Gogh and Shakespeare. Shakespeare, his stuff worked.
Yeah, it
during
was
his lifetime. Van Gogh didn't. So
yeah, but I mean, even there, no artist, I would assume, would think that their works last for 500 years like that. It's a thing back again to the episode Unicorn and the Wasp, where the Doctor pulls out the copy of was it Murder on the Orient Express from like somewhere?
No, it's Murder in the Skies or something.
Yeah, right, because it had the wasp. It had the wasp. So I mean, yeah, just because it's something in your time doesn't mean necessarily mean you think it'll live forever.
Yeah, but I think Da Vinci and Michelangelo might have gathered that their works would have lasted for. I mean, freaking Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel.
That's true.
I mean, that's immortalizing your art for all time. So did Da Vinci, actually.
That's true.
Okay.
Being one of them.
I have one more pick. I'm sorry I have to say this. I would want to bring these four people in the modern century for one specific reason. Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael.
So get four contemporary Renaissance painters and introduce them to the Ninja Turtles. I love it.
I saw wonderful graffiti art of all four of these guys with the corresponding turtle masks somewhere. I gotta look that up, but
I want that as a shirt.
Yeah, but going back to Da Vinci for a second, here's a fun fact. He took a very long time thinking of how he's going to present the Last Supper when he painted it on the Sistine Chapel. Mm-hmm. And one of the main priests kept nagging him about it, coming back day after day. He was like, "Well, dude, we need this painting finished. When are you going to finish this? When are you going to finish this? Come on, we need this thing finished. Come on, we're on a tight schedule." And Da Vinci just turned to him and told him, "If you ask me about this one more time, I'm going to paint Judas Iscariot with your face on it." And the guy just ran off and never bothered him again.
Nice.
Da Vinci was a badass. You do not mess with Da Vinci.
Yes, he was. Okay, so I've got my topic for next week, and it actually, it's funny enough, came from my list. Top 5 favorite inventions of all time, like ones you couldn't live without.
A sonic screwdriver?
Real practical inventions, 50.
Oh, shit.
So my DeLorean, will that count?
Okay, if it can travel into no, it has to be like an actual device. Like
I'm only kidding.
I would hope so, because I'm like, you can't travel through time, Ben.
Says you.
How do you know, man? How do you know?
Touche.
I might have seen all this before. You don't know.
How do you think
what I do?
Soda.
All right, well, that's my list for next week. It's the top 5 real inventions.
I love that. That's a great list.
A sonic screwdriver is real. I mean, I have one right here.
Yes, but can it actually do all the things that it picks in the show?
It's a screwdriver. It can drive screws.
All right. Ben, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me at my Twitter, Ben_radio. You can follow me and you can find me on my YouTube channel, The Multiverse of Kingdom. Every Monday on Deep Dive, every Tuesday on Jedi Academy, every Sunday, including tonight on What with Ben, where I just have a fun time with a panel of guests. You can, I also follow me on my Twitter. There's some announcements I'm going to be making. You can also find me right here on the Northern Entertainment Group every Tuesday on Rewriting on Tape and Soda here, and every weekend release to find people on this show.
And 50, what about you, my man?
Well, you can find me talking about even more Doctor Who on my own show, The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. I had these two and two other people for a 2 hours and 45-minute episode talking about Daleks.
It's a lot of Daleks.
All the Daleks! All the Daleks! So yeah, that premieres tomorrow. I do a show on Monday every week. I'm also every Sunday or Saturday, depending on which works best for all three of us. On this show, Northern Countdown, I have my own YouTube channel, 50 Shades of Geek. I have my own Twitch, where I try to play Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. Occasionally, Ben pops up in the comment section. You have a nice, fun conversation. And yeah, that's all I've got for now.
And as for myself, you can find me on my personal Instagram and Twitter at soda_the_saxman. You can find me on all the shows that these two gentlemen have mentioned on here. You can also find me on Wednesday nights on the Squared Slice, and you can also find me Saturdays over on the Let's Get Ready Network doing the Dropkicks with Dagan over there. Those are my two wrestling shows. So on behalf of myself, 50, and Ben, we will see you next week as we count down our top 5 favorite practical inventions